nice and slow for the ass touch. Hey guys, I just bought this 2004 Chevy Silverado 1500 and I'm hoping to turn it into an Overland rig. This is what it looked like stock. It had a 3-inch lift. I just sold my 97 Ford Explorer. It was all custom built and I really enjoyed it. That was my go-to camping vehicle and daily driver. I've already done some upgrades, mostly to the front of the vehicle. I wanted some better and easier to access and stronger recovery points. I've added some of those to the vehicle. I've bolted and welded on some clevis shackle mounts on the front of the vehicle, along with some lights before lockers, of course. I've also picked up a used cargo camper shell, or truck cap, whatever you may call it, hoping to turn that into a full rig with a bed and a lot of storage and shelving options. On the front of the vehicle you can see the aux beam yellow lights. I really like these because they just cut through fog and snow better than white light, less reflection because of the wavelength. Change the shackles to black just for a stealthier look. Well, let's get out there. But before we do, I wanted to show you what I brought. Camera bag with video stuff, something in case it gets cold. I've got the first aid kit in there, some sandwiches and drinks in an insulated bag, and of course a fire extinguisher I just mounted. The camper shell is slightly off-colored green, and the truck is a dark gray, but you know what, it barely is noticeable, and I might paint in the future. Got all my recovery gear, easy to access with these pop-up windows here. And then in the back I've added just a basic storage bin that does have a lid that velcros on. Also brought a little camping blanket, rain jacket, some bug spray and sunscreen, some poop bags. Got a basic set of tools and a shovel, fold out, and some basic cutting knives and axes in here as well. Got a pretty simple inverter here and some other powered stuff for my walkie-talkies. Today we're going out to Pole Hill Loop. It is just east of Estes Park in Colorado. Lovely little drive, about an hour from my place. The views as you get into the mountains are just epic. Along the Big Thompson River here, it's just nothing that beats it. Beautiful views, always amazing, seeing it change throughout the seasons. A little bit of traffic today, but everyone's just trying to get out and have a good time, it looks like. Getting into Estes Park here, I like to fill up the tank just before we hit the trail. Also air down to 20 psi once we get on the trail there. That'll just really help the tires grip and lessen the impact on other truck parts. Once you're on the trail, just take it slow and steady, make some friends, be nice to people. You can really see the aired down tires doing their job. There's just so much more rubber on the ground with them being at 20. 15 is about the lowest I'd go without bead lockers. Help me out with this tree. Just keep me, make sure I don't hit it.
I think you're good.
Ooh, angle. Actually just lightly hit my head here. I'm a pretty tall guy, stuff happens. Just be careful, try to be aware of your surroundings. It's so nice out here when the leaves are changing color this time of year. Trail eases up here a bit, so I'm just going in 4 high, taking in the sights. I do have my LED lights on just so others on the trail can see me easier. If I'm behind someone, I'll turn them off.
It's gonna be real shaky.
You'll probably want to go into 4 low here and a lower gear. Nothing too challenging here, but if you do come across some bigger obstacles or slipping a lot, you might want to turn on your lockers if you have them. I do not yet, but would be great in the future. Keep in mind when you're just starting out, look under your car, kind of get an idea where the low points are, and then always try to put your tires on the bigger rocks. That way you'll push your entire vehicle up higher, but definitely focus on going up and down those rocks slowly, as your vehicle weight or body could shift up and down as you go over those rocks. If you're ever unsure, just stop, get out, take a look around, or maybe if your spotter's up for it, have them kind of guide you, point you in the right direction, or check that you're not going to run into stuff. It's just not worth being rushed in this case. Body repair can be pretty expensive, and you don't want to break something necessarily. If you're having fun, that's great, but just keep in mind that off-roading will put more wear on your vehicle than just driving on the street. I kind of get out and I make a mental picture of which path I want to take, and a lot of times that is easy, and it just takes practice to learn how to do that and to remember, because as you can see here, my hood blocks most of my view. So I'm going on intuition a bit of feel, and then also I'm trying to be a little bit tactical with how I maneuver and turn my tire. I don't want a big rock hitting the side of my tire as it might puncture the tire. Definitely keep an eye out for trees and other large sign obstacles, as those can really damage your vehicle. A lot of times you can slide down, or your body can kind of shake like it's doing right now, and that can kind of cause enough movement to hit some of those things. So just be aware of them. And this truck up ahead flashed its brights at me. That's kind of how I got the signal to know that he wants me to come up the path. You want to give the person that has the more treacherous path the right of way in this situation, even if that means backing up a few hundred feet. Try to make room. Sometimes there are only single lane roads. Be nice, say hello, stick your hand out the window. That's kind of the off-roader's hello. It's just kind of courteous, and if you need help in the future, you want to be nice to the person that might come rescue you. I'm hoping to get a better mount for my GoPro so you can see more of the road when I'm driving along, and it's really hard for me to figure out where the video is to sync it.
Oh no.
After a good 3 or 4 hours of driving, we stopped for lunch, had some nice sandwiches on the tailgate with the puppy, and headed back.
Yeah.
We decided to take on some of the little bit more challenging paths we didn't take on the way out. I recently added a bigger air intake with a bigger air filter, give it a little more power and a little better sound in my opinion. This is probably the biggest drop I did during this drive. Just make sure your vehicle's capable of it, kind of get out and check to make sure you'll clear it, don't get stuck or beached on it.
Yeah, it looks a little deep.
Better safe than sorry.
Yeah, I'll be fine.
Famous last words.
Let's go. Parking brake.
creep over these kind of things as slow as possible. You can really see my frame just gets within inches of that rock.
Ow.
That's a tree branch that hit me in the face because I was watching the rocks and not the branches.
Nice and slow for the last touch.
And I'm aware my vehicle doesn't have as much clearance in the back. Hence that lovely sound. But it's fine. It just scraped the exhaust a little bit and everything else was fine. The big thing here is you want more approach and departure angle. Here you can see I removed the stock plastic and tow hooks. And here's kind of the line you want from the bottom of the tire to the front. So if that plastic was there, it would get ripped off. And on the back, you can see how much worse it is and why it touched a little bit. But overall, she did great. I'm really excited to improve upon this a little bit, maybe on that departure angle especially. After that, we went to Estes Park. Beautiful town, got some drinks. There happened to be an elk festival going on, so it was packed. And then we headed back for the night after airing the tires back up. Let me know if you'd like to see more of these videos. Hopefully you found some of this useful. Let me know everything I'm doing wrong in the comments below. If you'd like to see more detailed videos about the upgrades I've made so far, let me know that as well.